You know, I was thinking, the gallery celebrates 2 years this month, meaning that I've been filing taxes on this place for 2 years, which essentially means I also have 2 years of solid data. I know everything, how much everything costs, the averages of everything. I know exactly how much it costs, for example, to feed my fish. Today, I want to talk about that. We're going to go through exactly what my fish eat in one day. I also want to talk about costs, but we're also going to spice it up a little bit and feed them something a little special. Now, in a past video, we actually took a raw piece of shrimp and dropped it into a few of the tanks just to see what would happen. We're going to do that to a lot of tanks. We've got 2 pounds of shrimp here. Now, I don't feed this every day because 2 pounds of shrimp where I'm from costs about $15 to $20 Canadian. One of the easiest things you can do when feeding your fish is to use a predetermined measuring device, and for me it's just this tiny little Tupperware dish by Rubbermaid. For the 375-gallon aquarium, I fill this up halfway, twice a day, and offer it to them. They get a combination of veggie pellets as well as a cichlid pellet, which is more of an all-around fish food. Now, at half filled, it weighs around 30 to 40 grams, depending on the combination of which sizes I'm adding. The smaller the pellet, the more dense it's going to be, the more I can fit in the cup, the heavier it's going to be, for example. They currently get some Northfin. Now, I did a video in the past, a little while ago, where I unboxed some fish foods, and Northfin happened to be one of them. I even showed the receipt where I prove I paid for it, and a lot of people went to Northfin and attacked them, saying they're sponsoring me, they're giving me free food, etc., etc. That is 100% not the case. I just like the food, they're Canadian, and it was affordable, and my fish enjoy it, and I get great results on it. Maybe I should get them to sponsor me. So on average, the 375-gallon gets around 80 grams of food per day, which sounds like a lot, and it is a tremendous amount of food, but there's a lot of fish in that tank, and they're only going to get bigger. For example, the first year of the aquarium gallery, monthly out here, including food, electricity, I use a ton of electricity, and taxes, land taxes, insurance, everything adds up, internet, dedicated internet that's out here, tremendous amount of things that add up. The first year cost me an average of $1,300 a month to run it. In the second year, it's averaging out to be about $1,500. The fish are getting bigger, it's just costing more to feed them, that's really all it is. When it comes to the 120-gallon tanks, on average, they get about 15 grams of food twice a day as well. The bass being one of the funnest to feed because they attack it so well, we'll go from feeding those cichlid pellets that we fed the 375. At other times, I'll give them like a stick that is meant for arowana. They'll enjoy that as well. And then, of course, I'll give them some frozen or fresh foods like the shrimp, tilapia, scallops, whatever's available. The theme of this video, though, is more of a focus on dry foods. It's a lot cheaper for me to feed dry than it is for me to feed fresh. Even if I make it myself or do it yourself, it costs me a tremendous amount to continue to feed like that. You'll also notice that I'm only feeding 5 different types of food out here. The trophies get a varied diet as well. For the most part, they stick to the veggie diet, which is this stuff here, but then I'll also throw in some krill every once in a while as well, just to give them a little bit of meaty diet. However, they are a vegetarian. You do want to focus on vegetable matter for that type of fish. Now, the average is 15 grams of food per tank twice a day. It can vary, of course, especially with the bass. There's not many of them, so they don't get nearly as much. But again, so that's the average for each tank. So if you hear me saying 15 to 30 grams, or 30 grams total a day, that's the average. Some get a little more, some get a little less. Then, of course, the Waru tank. These guys will eat almost anything that I give them, but they are fish that leans towards being herbivoric, so they get a vegetable diet as well as a cichlid diet. Those guys get a little bit of all three, so they'll get the krill, the cichlid, as well as the veggie, but these guys will also eat frozen foods if I dice that up. But so will the bass. The bass will definitely eat a lot of frozen foods. The angelfish are a different story. Those guys can have a varied diet, so I keep them on one. Based on the limited amounts of dry foods that I like to keep and the fact that I need to buy it by... Remember the first time I did that unboxing all this food? This is all new stuff. But with angelfish, you also have to take into account their size of their mouth. So the 1 millimeter and the 2 millimeter pellets is typically what I stick to. Feeding dry foods with so many fish has made everything out here so much easier. I know that I can make my own food. I've done that in the past. I've fed fish exclusively in, especially when I was breeding discus. I had success breeding the fry or raising the fry because I had my own do-it-yourself foods. But to have so many different foods for so many different sizes of fish and having so many different sort of nutritional requirements makes that extremely difficult to do. The giant gourami and the plecos that are in there, well, he's getting big. So at times, he downs some carnivore, which is these bigger pellets. He'll eat some of the 3 millimeter cichlid pellets, The plecos seem to like this the most. And those are carnivorous plecos in there, so they will eat this stuff. And of course, he'll eat the sticks as well. Bud has a sweet tooth for shrimp, and we're gonna get to that in a moment. We're gonna feed some of these fish shrimp, and they've never had it before. The Exodon tank. I've been trying to get them off of the beef heart because I don't really want to have to make that all the time, so I have been attempting to give them shrimp and other pellets, but it's taking a while to get them there. So those guys get a lot of krill, which is high in protein, and it happens to be 85% Atlantic krill, and they seem to like it. Then of course the barb tank. That's such an easy tank to feed, but I have nothing but pellets here, so I stick to the 1mm veggie pellets for these guys. They seem to enjoy it. They are healthy. I still have the exact same amount that we started with, which is mind-blowing for such a tiny fish. Not losing any of them has been pretty awesome, but these guys definitely enjoy the pellets. I do find that the bigger guys will start eating it right away, and the rest will sort of pick at it from the bottom of the tank as it softens up. Now the 2,000 gallon, most of the time they get dry foods as well. So of course they'll get the arowana and the carnivore. I'll usually feed the arowana first, and they'll get the floating sticks, although they will go after these bigger pellets as well. But if I feed them the sticks first, the pellets definitely get down to the stingrays. As for the pond and the catfish, well, I can feed those guys the kitchen sink. They'll eat absolutely everything and anything, but for the most part, they do get the carnivore. However, they'll eat absolutely anything I put in that tank, and they are getting big fast. The 2,000 gallon gets around 80 grams of dry food twice a day, whereas the pond gets around 30 grams of dry food twice a day. Which means on average, I'm feeding about 500 grams of dry food every day out here, which is about 50 grams more than a pound. So over a pound of dry food every day. And to summarize that, a pound of dry food, if I buy in bulk, would cost anywhere from $15 to $30, and that's every single day. So just the food bill out here could be anywhere from $400 to around $800 a month. So now we have 2 pounds of shrimp. I want to see which tanks will eat it and which tanks won't. Will they pick at it? Will they won't? Will they not? Let's go ahead and offer it to every tank and see what they do. Of course, if they don't eat it, we'll remove it. Let's start with the 375 gallon aquarium. We know these guys will eat it. We'll go ahead and drop a handful in there, see what happens. Keep in mind, we're not going to prepare it or cut it up. I think they're going to go ahead and eat it. Now notice the tank is pretty yellow, but it is the white pellets. Yeah, they are eating this. that clown loach got one. Yeah, so they definitely eat this stuff up. As you know, if I cut it up, diced it up, it's just too expensive to do it every single day. It just adds up too much. Oh God, they're fighting over it. Now the Tropheus being a herbivore, I wonder if they would eat this. All right, so these guys got a piece. Looks like they're actually eating it. This is the Tropheus tank. So it doesn't look like they're going to eat it. I waited a few minutes. It's just laying back there. I'll take it out when we're done here. Now the Walrus. Let's see if these guys will go after a chunk of this. We'll see what happens. I know their mouths might be too small for it, but I'm pretty sure they'll go ahead and rip it apart. Oh, Timmy went. Look at Timmy going after it. Get it, Timmy. Go, go, go. Look at Timmy no grow. Some of these guys are getting big, aren't they? This is the biggest guy. Sexy little thing. Yeah, so they're fighting over that right now. You know, it's different. It's okay to feed your fish things that they have to rip apart, but you shouldn't necessarily do it all the time. You know, it could cause stunting and whatnot simply because a lot of the fish are not going to be as strong as some of the others. Look at this big guy. You know, the biggest is always... Oh, Timmy got a chunk! Only the big guy and Timmy. The biggest guy and little Timmy got a piece. Best friends forever. Yeah, so usually the biggest one will always get, you know, the meal. So you want to make sure that the food can actually fit in their mouths so everybody can eat. All right, you want some? You want this? Tell me. So the giant gourami, he's getting big. He's getting real big. I love him. He loves me. He's my spirit animal. Let's go. I don't think his mouth is necessarily big enough, but if he eats it the right way, why is he running from me? Bro, if you go hide to eat, you have an eating problem. I know he could eat it. I know for a fact he could eat it because we fed him a full one before. But he always surprises me with how like big his mouth is versus how big the food is. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there he goes. How was that? Want another one? I'll give him another one. I wonder if he'll swim around with this one in his mouth like a mustache again. No, that was quick. Just in his mouth, into his belly. That's it, bro. That's exactly how I eat as soon as I discover that I actually like the way something tastes. Look what he did earlier. Knocked down one of the trees that was silicone to the bottom. This is the second one. We might have to get him a bigger tank here shortly. But he's not that big. That's 120 gallon. He's doing just fine. Now the barb tank. This will be interesting. So many tiny little fish. I'm pretty sure they'll nibble at it, but we'll see. Get it. Get it, guys. Get it, get it, get it. Oh, oh. You a pack of miniature baby tiny minuscule piranha. You guys don't want none? So this tank's still doing great. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of the plants uprooted here. And they're just floating. I've just been leaving this tank alone, letting it do its thing. The strongest survives type of thing in it. We'll see what happens over time. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're gonna eat too much of it, but it also looks like many of them are starting to discover it down there. Isn't it pretty though? So the exodons, we know these guys are a meat eater. They will go after it, but they haven't really had a sweet tooth for this type of stuff. They like the meaty stuff more so, but there's a few of them that will eat it. And they must be eating it because every time I drop one in, it's gone shortly after. But they're not as ferocious for this as they were for red meats. They will eat it. Until it's gone. They've all grown a lot bigger as well. I have no idea how old these guys are. I would suggest probably close to a year, maybe a little bit more. So they're getting to adult size. It'd be interesting to see if they breed, how they do it, if they do it. But yeah, love this tank. Yeah, they're eating it. I think the texture of it throws them off, and they like the beef heart more because they can rip chunks off. The angel tank. This will be interesting because their mouths are so tiny. I wonder if they'll even pick at it. Yeah, I don't think they actually care. Yep, they could not care less. Maybe the Rasboras will go after it. I'm scooting around on the bottom there. Now, of course, the bass. Now, I know these guys are going to eat it, but will they eat it at this size is a different story. It's kind of the size of a fish, so I think the big guys will get it. The little guys might not. Let's see what happens here. Oh, it's gone. Oh, no, it's not. He's fitting it in his mouth. Wonder if he'll choke on it? No, he'll just spit it out. There's a bisher in here. Look, he's just sticking his tail out there. He'll eat it. These guys will eat it, but it's just definitely got to be a little smaller. Now, of course, the 2000. We know these guys will eat it. A big meal for them. Will they eat all of it? Yeah. A lot of big fish in here. The rays will eat it. They love it. Oh, he's got 3 in his mouth. All the rays are out. Arowana. They'll go down and get a bite here and there. What the rays don't eat, the arowana will, and vice versa. So, looks like a lot, but they'll eat it. Now the catfish. Oh boy. These guys are getting huge. Like really big. Look at the size of them. Oh, they're very sensitive. They can feel a lot of, I'm going to turn the waves off here. They can feel the vibrations of whatnot in the tank. So when I come near it and I just touch the lid, they'll come out. I'm I'm gonna do is dump a little of the juices in here so they know they're about to be fed. That's the little one coming, and then the big guys behind them. But these guys are getting massive. They'll eat anything I give them. Now if the lights are off, they'll come up to the top of the tank. See the size difference between the two? If the lights are off, they'll come up to the top of the tank and eat. Like whiskers out. It's really weird. Look, I'm just gulping that down here. I'm just gonna give them a bunch. You're just sucking them in. Nope, nope, nope. This is why they grow so fast. They eat so much. I could do this almost all day long with them. Just keep dropping food in. Get it, bro. God, he's got to be pushing 2 feet. Yeah, definitely 20 inches. The big guy. Remember when they were just tiny? So you want to get a red-tailed catfish, do you? You promise you'll get a bigger tank? These guys grow enormous. You'll be weighing 40 to 60 pounds in no time. Jeez. Absolutely incredible. A lot of people want to get these big fish, but don't take into account how much it's going to cost to keep them. Their food bill is extreme. The cost of electricity to keep their massive tanks, their initial setup costs. Regardless of how much things you build, it's expensive. All right, so some of them ate the shrimp, some of them didn't. It was just interesting to see what would happen. With that said, though, I hope you guys enjoyed finding out exactly what my fish eat in one day and the costs associated with it. It certainly should be a big eye-opener for people that want to start keeping, especially the big fish. Not only is it expensive to buy them, build or buy their tanks, set it all up, the ongoing electrical costs to run it, but their food bill could potentially be enormous. And when it comes to stingrays, for example, we're going to be doing that for 25 years, 25 years. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, you're not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you do so you do not miss any more of them.